Yo, what's going on, guys? Welcome back to the channel. Today's video, I'm going to go over the trades that we took today, as well as the game plan going into tomorrow. So this is what we looked like right off open. So if you guys remember yesterday, I said the market's bullish. Why? Because this 30-minute chart here was crossed. We ended up closing right around here. Right at this green candle was a close. Charts look pretty bullish, but obviously that wasn't the case today. We ended up losing the trend on the bull side, and that's why we ended up dropping so much, is because the bulls lost the trend. And like I always say, when this happens, when we lose the 50 and this chart goes negative, we usually continue, in the opposite direction. So that'd be to the downside, since these are calls, and the premium gets a spike on the put side. So that's the reason for the drop today. If we go on the 0-day chart, this is how you would have played it. I did try longs, and that was pretty much like I was green when I closed it, just because of how strong NQ was. But if we look here, to start off, this is what we looked like on the call side right off open. I was looking for this to get across, and then we could go long, but obviously you could see that never happened. 10 never went above the 50, and obviously the 50 never curled because we never crossed. So there was no entry here to take. But if we take a look at the put side now, this is what we look like. It was a very weird start to the day, because look at these candles. They're very weird, very weird. We ended up hitting the put 50 here. This ended up crossing right in this area. I wouldn't have taken anything yet, because of how the 30-minute looked. We were still dancing around the 30-minute 50. But as we kept chopping around this area here, and on the 30-minute, the 50 was sloped down a little bit, the 10 was down hard, and we were we ended up getting a candle closure below the 50, I believe, right at 11 o'clock. So with that closure below, and then we got this put cross, you could have taken this if you wanted to give it a try, because the 30-minute charges didn't look good at all for bulls by the time this chart set up. So before we get into that, I ended up taking a long. So what I was looking for, since the 30-minute was still cross bullish, I was looking for an entry to go long. So this 10 pretty much, it did cross about the 50 a little bit, and then I got in right at 10.50 on this red candle. We ended up closing back below the 10 and the 50. I got in some longs, and I was up probably 30 points, 35 points at one point, but I wasn't gonna just sell for that little points. I was looking for at least around 50 points, and we just never got to that threshold. But once we ended up coming back in this area, close above the 50, that's where I got out. And funny thing is, right on this move up, for some reason NQ was barely moving down, and I was able to get out of this in profit by probably 10 points, maybe 12 to 15 points, because if you look at the NQ chart here at 10:45 to 11:20, so if you just pull up NQ, is a very weird chart, because it was at the complete opposite just beforehand. So if you look, what did I say the time was? I don't even know. 10:45, which was up in this area, I believe. Yeah, so 10:45 was the entry, which was on this candle. So you could see we went, I forget what my entry was. I think it was in the 80s. 80, it might have been yeah, I think 87 was my entry. And then you can see we ended up going all the way up to 19. So again, wasn't 40 points. That wasn't even close to 40 points. It was off by 15 or 10 points. And then right on that, what candle was it? When did I say I closed it? I don't even remember. I think it was 11:20. Let me go back to this real quick. I don't even know what I said it was. If we go back real quick, wrong charts. I don't know what I'm doing. Did I change it? Yeah, I think I did change it by accident. Let me go back to the puts. Completely messed this up, but it's all good. So yeah, once we end up closing with the 50 there at 11:20, you can see I gotta go to a different section there. So 11:20, all right, 11:20 was this candle. So you can see we end up closing this candle right around the 300s, and like I said, I entered around the 87 on NQ. So you can see the difference in price. For some reason ES was a lot weaker, because if I pull up ES, I'm pretty sure it'll look a lot different. So yeah, right in that 10:45 area, at 11:20 we were already down here. So we ended up making a new low on that candle while NQ was still pretty much near its highs. So that's pretty much how I got out of the trade, in the green. But to go back to this 0-day chart and how you could have played this. So like I said, we closed above the 50. That's my stop on this trade, because we couldn't continue lower. It was a really weird day. I had this feeling while watching this chart, it just felt like the bears were gonna slam this thing down with how the 30-minute looked. It was just a matter of time. So once we, like I said, closed above the 50 there, I was out. And then from there, I look on the 30-minute, and this is what I saw. I mean, I didn't have it in real time. Like, I don't have the picture of it, but I mean, right at 11 o'clock, like I said, we closed below the 50. The 10's down hard. The 50 is like turning down. If you zoom out, you get, it's hard to see on this, but it was like curled down a little bit. So with like how we looked there, that put cross you could have taken a stab at. I was about to call it in the Discord, but I was busy and I wouldn't have been able to like manage the trade or anything. But that was a trade you could have taken just because, one, lost the 50, and two, the puts are crossing. It was a solid opportunity to go short. If not, if you didn't take it, that's completely fine, because we are still neutral. And if you just waited for some more confirmation throughout the rest of the day, cool. If you didn't take anything for the day, cool, because we are neutral at that point. So you don't have to be constantly in a trade. If you don't like something, just don't take it, and wait for something that's better, pretty much. So right in this area, we end up getting the cross 10 went by the 50, and we kind of chopped around a little bit and waited for this 10 to catch up with price. And I mean, you could have entered. I saw the contracts dip. I think when I was in this, it was like 185. Not when I was in this, when I saw it on my chart, it was 185, and that's probably where I would have entered, between 185 and $2 a contract. Probably between like 185, 195. That would have been your entry. And look at the move he got. I mean, very good move for a neutral market. And again, since that 30-minute chart was going negative, this is why the move was so aggressive. It's the same as like a positive cross on the 30-minute. Same goes with the negative cross. So this ended up, I was watching for this. I was waiting for this to come down to the 50. We never got it, unfortunately. But if this from here came down to the 50, would have bought that up, just because that 30-minute chart is crossing negative, and you could buy that 50 dip. This is the only time you could buy it in a neutral market. It's the same thing as like a positive cross on the 30-minute chart. So if we flip bullish, what do? Buy 50 dips. And if it crosses as we're going negative, the initial negative cross, that's when you can buy the 50 dip. Not when we've already crossed negative and the trade's over with, pretty much. So since we're going negative, you could buy the 50 dip. We never got it, so there's really no other entry point here. Could have played like a 10 reclaim, but obviously the 50 is the best spot to do so. And yeah, I mean, I played some. What did I say I played? I played some longs, like I said, not really anything out of that. And then I did try some on this reclaim right here. Didn't get too many. Maybe I got like 40, 50 points from here. I got in a little early on this reclaim just because the 50 was trending up so hard. So I got in pretty much on the closure of this candle. Jumped the gun a little bit, but I had tight risk on it, and I knew my plan. So we ended up getting a nice little dump. But the real trades really for the day, I mean, cross on puts. This little entry right here wasn't terrible. That's why I took it. It looked good, but we just couldn't get the move out of it, obviously. And then, we end up popping into this 50 on the 30 minutes. So on the call side, or no, my bad. On the put side, we hit the 50 on the 30. Why is this chart oh, that's the 1 hour, that's why. So we ended up hitting the 50 on the 30-minute. Why does this chart look so different? See, I'm on the wrong contract. So this is supposed to be 565s. My bad. I was wondering why it was looking different than what it did. So 30-minute, we hit the 50. You could see pretty much to a T. You could have grabbed some long right there, and that ended up giving the bottom pretty much for the afternoon, kind of late in the day. But it did give some points if you wanted to take it. And you guys know, 30-minute chart on the Friday contracts, it's a key pivot point. It's crazy how well the system reads the market, because what did we see today? We saw the bulls lose the trend, and once this happened, I mean, that pretty much meant we were going to continue to drop to pretty much this 50. So it gave you that, entry on the put cross, and we dropped all the way into the 50 on the put side, where that you want to be all out of your short, and you could possibly take a long off of here, and it gives the exact entry of when the bulls are going to lose the trend, and the exact entry of where we could bounce from. So that's why the system's great. It reads the market like no other. Today, again, it wasn't the greatest day. It was a funky morning with how we were chopping around that put 50, and then the cross worked out nicely. I wasn't able to take it, like I said, I was busy, but if you guys caught it, that's a good trade. Other than that, I mean, it was an okay day. If you took the put cross, that's really all you needed for the day. It gave a really good drop. Other than that, it was a slow day. So if you guys enjoyed, drop it. Oh wait, my bad. Completely forgot the game plan for tomorrow. Tomorrow, again, market's neutral, so it's pretty simple. Cross on either side of the premium. If this put chart crosses and flips bearish, obviously focuses on the short. 0-day cross on puts, 50 dip on puts. If we remain neutral, like I said, probably get a call cross. So yeah, that's pretty much all I got. If you guys enjoyed, drop a sub. I'm out. Peace.